Alright guys, so in this video I want to talk about 4 laws program and specifically want to differentiate between a 4 laws pattern on an initial test and a 4 laws pattern on a retest because it comes up quite often and people can get a little bit worried. So yeah, 4 laws is a special pattern on a hair mineral analysis test. Basically it's when magnesium, sodium, potassium and calcium are below ideal levels. And Dr. Eck discovered this pattern back in the 80s, I think, and they had a bit of a job trying to figure out how to actually get people out of it, because they knew how to get people out of how to increase an oxidation rate in a basic slow oxidation pattern, and how to decrease fast oxidation in a sort of basic fast oxidation pattern. But he realized that when these minerals, calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, were below ideal, all of them, that didn't, the same methods they was using in slow oxidation and fast oxidation didn't work, because when people in 4 laws, they're still in slow oxidation or fast oxidation. The only difference is that all of the levels are below ideal. And they found that they just couldn't quite get people out of the pattern very well, until after a while they basically realised how to get people out of 4 laws. And in simple terms, the way that they do it is, instead of giving sort of vitamins and minerals that tend to speed up an oxidation rate or ones that slow down an oxidation rate, the general idea was to basically try and put the adrenal glands and the thyroid gland to bed. And once you do that, the body after a while basically reboots itself, a little bit like a computer. It restarts, and after a while it'll turn itself back on, and then once it's back on, you can give various glandulars and metabolic packs to keep people out of 4 laws into a basic slow oxidation program, and vice versa with fast oxidation. So when people get a test back and they are in 4 laws and it's their first test, it's basically a sign that the individual is really, really burnt out and worn out. The vehicle has sort of crashed in the ditch, and often the individual's in a sort of sympathetic nervous system pattern where they're just sort of go, but the body can't quite keep up. And in general, these people are not feeling good at all. And as mentioned before, the way to get these people out of the pattern is to try and put their whole body to bed, including their thinking as well, because usually they often think too much, which is obviously not good too. But this video really is about just explaining to people how different things are when people go into 4 laws on a retest, because in reality this is actually a really positive pattern. And the amount of times I'll get messages from clients saying, "Oh no, I'm in 4 laws, I'm getting worse," and that's actually not the case at all. So the way things work with 4 laws on a retest, and it doesn't really happen if you're not following a development program or a nutritional balancing program really well, is the body heals in layers. So you heal one layer and then another layer comes to the surface, and that goes on and on and on in iterations. And what happens with 4 laws in a retest is the body, you're healing yourself so deeply that all of a sudden this old 4 laws layer that you probably was in a few years ago, or just the body has got enough nutrients and nutrition and it's detoxing a lot, that the body basically says, look, we have to go through a deep healing process where it's not too dissimilar to the body saying, right, I'm ready, I've got the tools for you to put me in the garage, and we're going to really get to work at changing some of the deep nuts and bolts. So the reason why the body can actually sort of say this is because the individual has put a lot of work in to re-nourishing itself and detoxing and resting, and the body is very grateful for that, and then goes into 4 lows because it knows it's going to have the nutrients and the stability to really get deep into some deep changes and deep healing. As I mentioned, it's a little bit like taking it into a garage and getting the mechanic to just change everything, but only when the mechanic's got the tools to do the job. So yeah, it's usually a time of very deep healing and a celebration pattern as a result. So don't try to distinguish, don't try to think the two's the same. However, the way of getting people out of 4 lows or getting people through 4 lows, the program's the same. You know, we do need to try and put the body to bed. If you're going through it on an initial program, we need to put the body to bed because the person's just so ridiculously worn out. On a retest, we want to put everything to bed because the body is trying to tell the individual, look, you know, I'm really grateful that you're giving me plenty of nutrients and nutrition. Now I'm really going to deal with some deep stuff, so let's sort of go to bed for a few weeks or a few months, however long it takes. So that's basically the difference. Sometimes, yeah, you find people go into 4 lows, sometimes especially people in their late 20s, when they're going through the transition of the Saturn return, they will often go into 4 lows, and that's to do with dealing with parental issues when they're younger. Usually it's around attachment, you know, so if they're too attached to parents or their parents were a little bit distant from them, they'll usually deal with some issues around being independent related to that sort of stuff, which is something that people should be aware of, and speak to the client if they feel like that's what they're going through. So that's everything for this video. Yeah, try not to get bummed out if you go into 4 lows on a retest. It's an excellent pattern. Sometimes people go in and out of 4 lows. That's just the body's way of, you know, really dealing with stuff. The idea of oscillation in, you know, engineering and in sort of just the universe and the earth in general, it seems to be how things work. It oscillates, and going in and out of 4 lows is a similar experience. It's a very, very powerful way of moving things forward. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.